The 6'9" do-it-all builds are back on NBA 2K25. And in today's video, I'm going to be showing you guys how to make this 6'9" build that can do a little bit of everything. With that being said, if you guys enjoy content like this, make sure to like and subscribe so you guys can keep getting more content like this. And with all of that out of the way, let's get started with today's video. Let's go. Now, really quickly, before we get into the My Player Builder, here were all of the animations I was using on this build, and here is the jump shot that I was using as well. Base is going to be Jalen Tyson. I really like this jump shot because it's got a little bit of like a Patty Mills feel to it. Yeah, man, very fun jump shot to use. But now let's get to the builder. All right, so when it comes to making these like 6'9" do-it-all builds, there are realistically two heights you can do it at. You can do it at 6'8" or you can do it at 6'9". And in today's video, I'm going to show you both the 6'8" and the 6'9" version, but we're going to start with the 6'9" version because that is the version of the build that I made. I think I've said version like 20 separate times in the past 15 seconds, but you get the gist of what I'm trying to get at here. So height 6'9", weight 186 pounds, 7'4" wingspan. We're going to start things off in the finishing here. I already have the physicals already done, taken care of, right? So that's cool. Finishing, we're going to put the driving dunk up to an 89. That's going to get us the pro contact dunks, both the off one and the off two. We also get silver posterizer. Driving layup, we're just going to move up one more tick to 70. You get bronze physical finisher. You get Zion Williamson layup style, which is really nice. Or you can use Ben Simmons default swing, doesn't really matter. My go-to is definitely Zion. Then for the close shot, we're putting this up to a 73. Just to get that paint prodigy on bronze, you might as well. The close shot's already at a 69. Might as well just bring it up a couple more notches to get a badge that'll help you finish better in the paint. Then the standing dunk is going to be a 72. Okay, this is going to get us rise up on bronze, which is actually a very good badge. And when it comes to pro-am, and this build isn't necessarily for pro-am, but you could definitely use a build like this in a very good 5-out in pro-am. But most locks, most backends, if they can get 72 standing dunk, they will go 72 standing dunk. So it's really nice to have when you're trying to finish down low in the paint. You're going to get a lot of really good standing dunk animations. So that's it for the finishing on this build, but now let's take a look at the finishing highlights. Now when it comes to the finishing highlights on the build, it's going to be really simple. It's going to be a lot of meter dunks. It's going to be a lot of scoring and transition, and in the half-court offense, if you do not have a really good defender on you, you're going to be able to score at will, especially in the paint. Now, some of these clips are from me playing in solo rec at the small forward position, and a lot of these other clips as well are going to be with me playing with Bauer, Dirty Joe, and whatnot. We're playing with a full 5 in rec. We've been playing a lot of the 2x rep event that's been in the rec center recently, and yeah, this is a build that I've been using a whole lot in there, and it can get pretty efficient and effective using this build in the game mode. Now, big thing with this build, and I say this with every build that has very high driving dunk, you can check this throughout all of my YouTube videos that I've posted recently. When you have good driving dunk on the build, you better be taking advantage of the dunk meter, okay? Dunk metering just makes the build so much better to use. Obviously, you can still just run to the rim, hold X, but if you want to get the most effective dunk animations, using the dunk meter is going to be the best way to do it. As you can see right here, we're just like dunking over multiple defenders. We're getting the free throw line Michael Jordan dunk animations too. Finishing wise, this build is just absolutely insane, even though we only have an 89 driving dunk to start things off on this build, and we can definitely dribble the ball as well without any issue. And normally, since I have this build at small forward and I'm playing lock, teams will usually put their worst defender on me at first, which usually means I'm going to be cutting with 90 driving, 70 standing with a little point guard on me, which usually doesn't end up pretty well for them. This team decided to do it the entire game, so I got a lot of cuts, I got a lot of standing dunks. This was the small forward guarding me. We still just dunk right over him. You're gonna have that size advantage. You can just finish so easy in the paint, and teams aren't gonna be able to swing on you super crazy because you still have 85 pass accuracy. You still got that gold dimer, and again, sometimes it's just really hard to get down there in time. All right, so now moving on to the shooting, and again, you don't have to make this build the exact way that I made it. This is just really just a template for how you can make this build. But on this build, we're gonna have a 78 3-pointer. We're not gonna upgrade the midi, and that is going to be it. It's gonna get a set shot specialist on silver, shifty shooter bronze, deadeye bronze. We're gonna be either 3-hunting or driving to the rim a lot on this build, and moving off the ball a lot, whether that's cuts, dexing, and whatnot, setting a screen on this build. We're not gonna really try and hunt for the midi a whole lot, although midis go in at a pretty good rate. Realistically, I'd rather get to the rim, get to the free throw line, or shoot an open 3 at a high clip instead of trying to get to the midi when, again, I could finish really well on this build. Why would I try and shoot a midi when I have this much finishing on my build? Free throw, we're just gonna put it at a 66 for right now, and that's gonna be it for the shooting, and now we're going to move on to the shooting highlights. Now, when it comes to the shooting highlights, it didn't get really a whole lot of opportunities to create off the dribble with this build, and even though that didn't happen, you could still shoot really well off the ball for wide open catch and shoots. And one big thing that I do want to point out, obviously I already showed you guys a jump shot earlier on in the video, so if you skip to this point of the video and you hadn't seen it, it was earlier on in the video. But the big thing that I would also mention too is I'm still a heavy advocate for the rhythm shooting. There's no delay to it anymore, so it's just a whole lot easier to use. And again, I'm sitting on a hash shooting with a 78 3-pointer, and it's knocked down. Obviously I max +1 my set shot specialist to gold, but I mean, it feels pretty chicken on the hash. I'm not gonna lie to you. I can shoot in the corner on the hash, top of the key, doesn't matter, and I can still finish the way I do on this build, man. It's hard to guard. All right, so now moving on to the playmaking. This is actually going to go up to an 85. This can get us bailout on bronze, silver break starter, bronze versatile visionary, and gold dimer. I like having the bailout on bronze, especially when driving to the paint. Sometimes you go up with something, you want to bail out to it, to an open person so they can shoot the ball. Gold dimer is also really nice for teammates and whatnot. And now ball handle, max it out to an 80. It's going to get you the best dribble move in the game, which is the Zach LaVine snatchback, the Zach LaVine moving step back, whatever you want to call it. So yeah, that on a 6'9", it hits. It freaking hits. So with the badges though, we get bronze ankle assassin, bronze handles for days, gold strong handle, silver unpluckable. Speed with ball is going to be a 75, and that's going to get us lightning launch on silver. Since lightning launch is at tier 2, if you really want to, you could put lightning launch on gold on a 6'9". And I understand that the dribble styles for the swing builds aren't really too great. Your options are really just Jalen Green, Zion, and Zach LaVine. But when you are on a 6'9", that could do so much off the ball, it could play really good defense. By the way, we haven't even gotten to the defense yet. The defense on this build is amazing. And you could score with the ball in your hands too, and you could even boost the ability of doing that by putting lightning launch on gold as a tier 2 badge while still doing something like set shot specialist at the same time. That's some pretty freaking nice stuff. All right, so with that being said, now let's move on to the playmaking highlights. Now for the playmaking, a lot of this are just going to be passing clips, but one thing I do want to point out with passing is passing styles. Now, I'm normally someone who likes to use passing styles a lot on my builds, but after using them a lot on 2K25, I don't use passing styles anymore. I know LeBron is good, Halliburton's good, this is good, that is good, whatever's good. After a while, I just prefer to just use none. There's no real bad animations with none, so I just don't see any reason to use anything other than none as my pass style. But hey, that's totally personal preference. You can use whatever you want, but I'm just gonna probably stick with none for here. Look at the offensive rebound right there though. Grab that, kick that out to Dirty Joe, and he's gonna hit another shot. For the defense, okay, now for the defense, this is with cap breakers in mind. All of my cap breakers are going into defense for the first set of cap breakers on this build. Second set of cap breakers will go to driving dunk to get it up to 93 for the gold posterizer, but right now all my stuff is going to go into defense. So we're going to go with an 87 perimeter defense. We're going to eventually cap break that up to a 92, get all of these badges on gold, but we're going to drop that down to an 87 once again, because again, we're not going to go that high just off the rip. And then for the steel, putting it at an 84. Now, realistically, if you don't have cap breakers, you probably should just put it at 85 or just wait till you get cap breakers, because that +1 cap breaker we get at the end of this season, which I've already gotten, we're going to put on steel to get gold interceptor and bring the steel up to an 85. But we're going to keep it at an 84. Just so we can add the +1 afterwards and get the gold interceptor. So now for the block, and this is actually one of the major differences from my build to the one that I'm showing y'all. My build only has the 68 block, which gets us high flying denier, and you guys are going to see in the defensive highlights, we do get plenty of blocks on this build. But we're actually going to crank it up to a 74 and get that bronze paint patroller. And I think that's pretty much it for the defense. Yeah, that's pretty much it for the defense. So realistically, defensively, with the rest of this build, once you have cap breakers, you're gonna have an 85 steal, 92 perimeter defense, and I think that's going to be some really solid stuff. 92 perimeter defense is going to be really nice, and it has been really nice. And then we're going to put the offensive rebound up to an 80, and that's going to be it for the build. It's going to get you silver rebound chaser, silver box out beast. Now with this build, with the way that I've been playing it, when I'm playing with like a structured like 5, I'm playing as a shooting guard basically on this build. I'm using this build as a lock pretty much, because I have 92 prim, 86 speed, 84 agility. Like, I got a whole lot going for me defensively. So in a lot of the gameplay that you're going to see defensively, I am playing as a on-ball defender on this build, and I'm running the break a whole lot on this build too. That's why it's really nice to have this build up top playing is a lot, because once the shot goes up, you got a 6'9" with 87, 86 speed running the break with 90 plus driving dunk, which is a very, very easy thing to score with. The other big thing too is that since I'm going to be running the break a whole lot on this build, that's why I didn't put a whole lot of defensive rebound, but we went with some offensive rebound, because when I'm driving, kicking out to open shooters, I still want to be able to grab that board. I mean, I'm 6'9", you know, I got to have some rebounding to me. I can't make a 6'9" with no rebound. That would just kind of take away the whole point of being kind of tall. So 80 offensive rebounds. So if we kick to an open shooter with that gold dimer, let's say they miss, we'll grab the offensive rebound. Now, although this build can easily get 20 points a game, my favorite part about this build is the defense, okay? I've been playing as an on-ball lock on a 6'9", basically, and yeah, it's some pretty serious stuff. You can get in those passing lanes, even though post-patch passing lanes aren't super crazy. Look at this right here. Boost into the lane, take it all the way, touchdown, pick six, whatever you want to call it. I understand it's basketball, but you get the reference. But again, 6'9", long arms, you can get into the lanes, you can block shots really easily on this build, and I'm just really happy with how good this build plays on defense. So the fact that I feel like I can comfortably drop 20 on this build, and I'm really a two-way. I can get stops, I can get steals. I'm using my max +1 on-ball menace, so I'm a 6'9" with high steal, high speed, and I have Hall of Fame on-ball menace. Like that's a hard combination to deal with right here. Dude tries to run to his left, I just say, let me pluck that from you, brother. Let me take that off you, and I'm gonna take it all the way to the rim. And that's the big thing with how I've been playing a lot of the like PNR people that we end up going up against. I usually just deny the screen and blitz the moment he tries to run towards the screen, and it works a lot. Right here, I try to jump into the lane between the handoff to the guard. We end up getting it, and yeah, that's usually what you just got to do. You just got to play the angle. You just got to time the blitz at the right time. Again, there's a perfect example of what I was talking about. Denied the screen, blitzed him as soon as he tries to move his way towards the screen, and yeah, that's pretty much it. And then just to talk about the physicals really quickly, 86 speed on a 6'9" is pretty freaking fast. I'm not gonna lie, that is some serious stuff. 84 agility, gonna get us all these badges that we want, whatever. It's one off the maximum, which is 85. So if you ever want to just throw a +1 cap breaker in there to get that, you can totally do that. 73 strength, that gets us the strong handle on gold, and then the 80 vertical, so we can get aerial wizard on Hall of Fame. Now, build is very well rounded. It can do a little bit of everything. If you understand how the shooting works in this game, 78 3-point shot is really not that bad. Get you silver set shot specialist. You can max +1 this to gold if you have the ability to do that. Finishing wise, we have an 89 driving dunk, which is really good. 70 standing dunk. So when we get down low in the paint, you can definitely finish well over a lot of defenders. Playmaking, pretty freaking solid. Once again, high pass sack, decent ball handle. You get the best move in the game. You get the Levine snatchback. I don't know what else you would need. And then 75 speed with ball. And again, defensively, this is really solid for a 6'9", because again, we're gonna have 85 steal, 92 prim with high speed, high agility. Now we're gonna come out of the My Player builder. We're gonna get shades of Scottie Pippen, OG Anunoby, and Kelly Oubre. And we're going to get the build name Wing Stopper, which I thought was a pretty freaking cool name. I'm not gonna lie to you, don't really see this name a whole lot, so Wing Stopper is the build name that we're going to get. And now let's just take a look at the 6'8" really quickly. We're gonna come here, 6'8", two-way, 3-level shot creator is the build. We're not gonna do the whole thing redo all over once again. We'll just talk about the major changes with this build. And obviously you don't have to make this build the exact way that I made it, because I ended up putting midi on this one, and I ended up putting post control on this one to take advantage of the midi, take advantage of the post top shots. But you don't have to do that. You can still just make a high 3-point version of this build. 84 driving dunk, we're gonna cap break that to 89 to get the contact dunks, the silver posterizer, the aerial wizard on Hall of Fame. 70 layup, 73 close shot, 72 standing dunk, all that's the same. 70 post control for the post fade phenom on silver. 85 midi for silver deadeye, and I think that's the only difference in badges. Obviously post fade phenom on silver because we have the post control. 3-pointers is 77, so one off the previous build. Playmaking is the same, except obviously we have more ball handle, more speed with ball. And the plan is with this build is the first 5 cap breakers will go to driving dunk to get it to 89, and then that last cap breaker that we have, so I have 6 in total, the last cap breaker will go to ball handle to get ankle assassin on silver, because that's the easiest way to get that badge. Because if I do it normally in the builder, it's going to bring up my driving layup up by 1. So I'll have a 71 driving layup, but I don't want 71. So this is how I'm just going to do it. Once again, 75 speed with ball gets you lightning launch on silver, and it's a tier 1 badge at this height, so you can't do what you could do on a 6'9", right? On the 6'9", you can have lightning launch on gold if you really wanted to. So realistically, aside from like having higher ball handle and having 1 tier higher of handles for days, you could make an argument that the 6'9 can move a little bit better. I don't really know what better SIGs you get at an 85 ball handle that you can't just get at an 80, because again, best move in the game is the Levine snatchback, which you get in an 80. So that's that. Defense, 85 prim, 85 steal, really solid stuff here. Once again, 68 block, 80 offensive rebound, speed and agility is really good. And yeah, this is a really solid build. Now, the big thing with the 6'8, the big thing as to what almost made me want to make the 6'8 instead is the takeovers. Now, we're not going to talk about a lot of these takeovers. The only one that we're going to focus on is mixtape. Mixtape gives you the blur takeover ability. Now, fellas, the blur takeover ability gives you pretty much a guaranteed blow by every single time somebody is guarding you. You can just run through people. I'm not exaggerating. You get this takeover ability, you can literally run through people. And this is the tallest height you can get it at, which is 6'8". You need the 85 midi, you need the 85 ball handle, and you need a 75 speed with ball. So this is the tallest height that you could get this version of the takeover. And this is the only takeover that you can get with the blurred takeover ability at this height. If you wanted to make one of these two builds and you wanted to be a little bit more offensive heavy when it comes to like takeovers, I'd say go blur takeover ability on this build for sure, because you're going to get guaranteed blow bys, and that's going to completely change how they have to defend you, because they have to guard you so low because they don't want to get blown by, and then you're just gonna get wide open threes off of that. But yeah, that's gonna be it for this build. And then I guess I didn't mention it earlier, but when it comes to takeovers on the other build, you could use Slice, you could use Pest, which are both really good takeovers. I'm trying to grind out Pest right now. Gives you boosts to your perimeter defense, your agility, and your steal, and it gives you the Vice takeover ability. I think I could show that right here really quickly, because I think this one still gets it. This is the one I use on the 6'9", that, or I use Slice. I don't think this one gets Slice off the rip, because I'd have to use the cap breakers first to get the 89 driving dunk. But yeah, Pest takeover is what I use on the 6'9". If I were to make the 6'8", I would use the mixtape takeover and get that blur takeover ability. But that's it for this build. Coming out of the My Player Builder, shades of Jim Jackson, Herbert Jones, and DeJounte Murray. This build's actually going to get a different name. It's going to get the two-way 3-level shot creator that you saw earlier on. And that is it for these two like 6'8", 6'9" ISO builds. That's going to be it for today's video. Hope you guys enjoyed this video. And if you did, please drop a like and subscribe if you want to see more content like this. But until next time, I'm out, man.